Okay, so let's dig into this. Today we're looking at a really key system inside your body, one that interacts with your food choices every single day, almost like an inner city maybe, with a really crucial worker running thing.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. And the source material we've got really uses that kind of analogy. Our mission today, basically, is to understand that link between blood sugar, this key worker called insulin, and something called the glycemic index, or GI.
Right, the GI.
And why paying attention to it, according to the source, is just so important for your health.
Okay, so the glycemic index. It's essentially a scale, yeah, usually 0 to 100, and it tells you how quickly a food makes your blood sugar go up after you eat it. Seems simple enough.
It's a simple concept, but yeah, the effects are pretty significant. Knowing where foods fall on that scale is, well, crucial. You take things like, say, white bread, lots of sugar, maybe polished rice. Those are high GI.
High GI.
They hit your system really fast. The source kind of calls them wild party guests barging in, causing this sudden sugar rush in your blood. We're talking foods scoring over 70, generally.
Wow, okay. And that's when insulin gets the call, right? Our tireless worker. Its job is basically to deal with that rush, get the sugar out of the blood and into cells for energy or, storage.
Exactly. It's like the peacekeeper trying to get things back to normal after the party crashers arrive.
Makes sense.
But the problem, and this is where it gets a bit concerning, is when these sugar floods happen too often. Like, if you're constantly sending in those high GI foods, insulin just gets swamped.
Overworked. Too many emergencies.
Yeah. And over time, the cells, they almost start to, ignore the signal from insulin. The source terms this insulin resistance. It's kind of like the system just gets tired of the constant alarms and starts tuning insulin out.
Okay, and that sounds like where the real health impact comes in. Because if the cells ignore insulin, the sugar just stays in the blood.
Precisely. It just hangs around. And this isn't just a small issue. It has pretty serious consequences down the line.
Such as?
Well, looking at the bigger picture, that lingering sugar and the insulin resistance, it can pave the way for things like prediabetes or even type 2 diabetes. It also increases the risk for heart disease, can contribute to weight gain, fatigue, even chronic inflammation.
So it's a whole cascade of potential problems.
Absolutely. The source really emphasizes that ignoring how food impacts your blood sugar fundamentally hinders insulin and can seriously undermine your health overall.
Okay, so this brings us back to practical choices, right? When you're deciding what to eat, the source talks about choosing allies instead, foods that actually work with insulin.
Exactly. You want to invite the helpful guests, not the party crashers. These are your lower GI foods, and things that help balance the meal. So think green veggies, lentils, oats, maybe apples, carrots. They're generally lower on that scale.
Okay, the steadier options.
Yeah. And pairing them with good protein and healthy fats is key, too. Things like nuts, seeds, eggs, Greek yogurt. Plus, choosing those fiber-rich whole grains like quinoa, barley, brown rice instead of the white polished stuff.
Because these foods don't cause that big sudden sugar wave, they release it more slowly.
Spot on. It's a much more gradual release of glucose.
Yeah.
That lets insulin do its job calmly, efficiently. No frantic scrambling, no burnout.
Right. So it's managing a steady flow, not a flood.
Exactly. And you can really see the loop here. Food choice impacts blood sugar speed and amount. That dictates insulin's workload. Too much work leads to resistance. Resistance leads to potential health issues. Understanding the GI gives you, a practical way to step in and make choices that support the system.
Okay, so let's sort of wrap this up. The core message seems to be what you eat directly influences your blood sugar.
Yeah, and how your blood sugar behaves determines insulin's job.
And constantly overburdening insulin, well, that can lead to resistance and a whole host of health problems down the road.
But, and this is the empowering part, you really do have the power to choose those supportive allies. Loading up on those greens, the lentils, oats, apples, carrots, balancing with nuts, seeds, eggs, yogurt, good whole grains, that helps insulin keep things running smoothly, like a well-managed city, going back to that analogy.
It really puts the control back in your hands, doesn't it? You hold the pen for this part of your health story. Every meal is a chance to, support that inner system.
Absolutely. And the source leaves us with a pretty potent thought. Food isn't just fuel. It's not just calories in. It's actually like a plot twist in the story of your health.
A plot twist. I like that. So the question for you is, what plot twist will you choose next?